It's Jeremy from jeremy.net. And this is my 200th drawing video. And I wish that I had something special planned, some sort of retrospective. I thought about trying to come up with something to celebrate this in the video. But I think probably the biggest message that I have to take away is to try and stay focused on your goals. And I realized that the time that I would spend putting together some sort of special video to commemorate the occasion could be better put toward either doing figure drawing studies or working on my comics. So I decided I'm just going to stick with my goals, trying to get as much work as Morningstar done as possible. Khaleesi, one of our cats, just made a quick appearance in the video there. And I gotta tell you that at almost any given time when I'm at the drawing table, she's usually right next to me at the drawing table, or she's sitting underneath the chair. She's always kind of looking around, trying to peek her head in and see what I'm doing. So right there's a quick shot of her. She's usually hopping into my lap, trying to crawl onto the table while I'm drawing. So what I'm doing here are some ink studies of figure drawings that I've done in class. The drawings on the left are done in charcoal pencil, and they're classes I do. They're drawings that I've done from the live model. And much like I do with my figure drawing disaster videos, where I go through and I take drawings that didn't come out very well, something I've been trying to do more often now is not just to redraw those drawings in charcoal, but to draw them in ink. And the purpose for that is because I want to bring more of the feeling of the things that I'm learning in figure drawing class into my comic work. Sometimes my comic book work can feel a little bit graphic, a little bit cartoony, and it doesn't live and breathe as much as the figure drawings do. Now, mind you, my figure drawing studies are rarely photorealistic, but I am trying to capture that organic feeling of drawing from a live human being, where even if they're somewhat abstracted, they still feel, they have a lifelike feel to them. That's what I'm going for. And, my goal is never to be photorealistic. Not that I'm against photorealism, it just isn't naturally what I'm drawn to artistically. But doing these studies in ink, hopefully I can breathe a little bit of that more life into my drawings, because I think the strongest artists are the ones who have that ability to both conceive of images out of their head and make those have the energy of a cartoony drawing, while at the same time combining the life-like energy that you get from drawing live models. So I'm just doing a couple of studies and redrawing them in ink. And I'd say, the big challenge that I have in doing these is capturing the subtleties that usually a halftone requires. A lot of times when I'm drawing in class, I'm trying to use the side of the pencil to capture subtle tones of forms turning. And when you're drawing in ink, you're making solid black lines. And if you want to do subtle forms turning, you end up doing a lot of hatching. Or, it's challenging to find ways to subtly show a form turning in ink without, spending a lot of time doing laborious shading. So that's one of the things that I've been trying to balance, how to get that sense of volume and direction and some of the subtle details that are in an ink drawing. While the nice thing is that it combines that strength of that hard direct line. But as you'll notice here, I'm spending a lot more time on drawing boxes for the torso and the pelvis. And that's something that I think I mentioned in previous videos, that the instructor I had most recently, Ron Velasco, was pointed out that my understanding of the pelvis and the solidity of it wasn't as strong as it should be for as long as I've been doing figure drawing. So I've really been trying to go back and look at the primitive forms of, like, even in this picture right here, you see I'm starting with a box for the torso and a box for the pelvis. And I'm just redrawing the one below it. For a lot of these, it's like I'll take the same drawing and I'll draw it, 2 or 3 times, trying to work out details. Like the pose that's reaching up, that's to the left that I did. The first one I did had more of the energy that I was going for of the pose that was on the previous drawing, but I had the pelvis turned in the wrong direction. So I said, what happens if I try to do it and just stick to what I was doing, what the way the pelvis was turned in the actual original drawing, which is the one that's next to it. But then I got the proportions wrong. The hips were a little bit too wide. She wasn't as long as her body was. I didn't get that stretched out feel. So for me, this is my process of trying to improve my work. It's just doing the same drawing over and over again and incrementally trying to correct things. And I will correct some things. I'm like, oh, this is better. Sometimes I'll try it, and it's not so much a correction as it's a change in the wrong direction. And I can look and analyze the difference that these changes make. So I look at learning how to draw better as an iterative process. Like, the drawing I'm doing here, it's the same pose that's just to the left of it, but I want to do the torso, just try and get a little bit more of the twist that was in the actual drawing. But in that, even though I twisted the torso a little bit more, I tried putting sort of a grid of cross contours so I could kind of try and show the rounding and the form turning. And this is another challenge, when I'm doing these drawings in ink, is that all these construction lines kind of lock me in a little bit. And so it's like trying to find a way to get all of these things blocked in, to block in these major forms, without having construction lines where it just comes big blocks of black and you can't see any detail. So it's kind of a fine balance between using these lines as measurement, but not making a thing messy and muddy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please like and share them. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can sign up for my weekly newsletter to get a free digital comic at newsletter.jeremy.net. That's newsletter.gerimi.net. Also, visit my main website, jeremy.net, where you can buy my comic books, art prints, and more. There's also links to my Instagram, Twitter, and other social media accounts. That's it for now. Go be creative.